That this afternoon. It's the kind of year where negotiating for runs is mighty tough on the ball field when you get to the playoff series. The Red Sox finding that out today until the 9th inning.
We have worked with his mechanics some to try to keep his arm up as much as possible when he tries to get the ball down in the strike zone. But even then, hitters complain about not being able to pick up the ball until the last minute. And I think that's what's made him very successful. He's really not overpowering as far as speed-wise. He only throws in the high 80s and occasionally will hit 90. But the way they swing at him, at times he looks like he's throwing the ball 95 miles an hour.
According to the Mets press book, today is his 24th birthday. He is the first native Hawaiian ever named to an All-Star game. It came this year. And Sid, over the season, had 31 starts, but only 2 complete games. He came out of the Los Angeles Dodgers organization in a trade that brought Diaz and Baylor to Los Angeles.
And one of the things you can look for off of Sid Fernandez is his control. He has had some control problems. He's walked 91, as you see, and 204 1/3 innings of work, about 4 a ball game. He struck out his 200th batter last Sunday, his only big league save as he relieved in the last game of the season to get some work in. His last start 11 days ago. And when you're watching him, watch the difficulty that he has being wild high in the strike zone. He'll be wild up and away to right-handers. Rarely with his fastball will he be wild inside to right-handers. You can pick that up as you watch Sid work tonight.
And his dad has traveled from Hawaii to watch his son on his 24th birthday pitch in the National League Championship Series. What a nice birthday that is. All right, here we go with Bill Doran stepping to the plate.
Who they thought of all the starters might be the most suspect in a situation like this. Sid Fernandez, who has had to struggle a good deal of this season to get past the 6th to 7th inning. Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Guaranteed to one thing, there's a great baseball game in front of us. Bob Murphy, we're set to enjoy it.
Imagine having this come up on your birthday. And I believe that if Sid Fernandez can get through the first inning, he will be fine. He is very uptight at the moment. The left-hander winds the pitch to Billy Doran. A little bit high, ball 1. It would figure that Sid Fernandez would be very tense. 23 years old. First real full year in the major leagues. Now the left-hander winds the pitch. Ground ball hit to third, knocked down by Ray Knight. The throw, 1 down. Boy, Ray Knight playing in on the grass to guard against a bunt from Billy Doran. He hit the ball hard. Ray knocked it down and then made the play. Good start.
He may not have seen that till he knocked it down. That ball was really hit hard on him, and because he was in, he had to take the middle hop. Just got the body in front of it, knocked it down, and had time to make the play.
Now the hitter is Billy Hatcher, the Astros center fielder. 3 hits and 11 times at bat in the championship series. Right-hand batter facing Sid Fernandez, bunts. Foul ball all the way back on the screen. Now on the infield for New York. Beautiful night for baseball. Not chilly at all yet. It may be before the night is over. Keith Hernandez playing first. Wally Backman at second. Rafael Santana at short. And Ray Knight again in on the grass at third. Mookie Wilson in left. Len Dykstra in center. Darryl Strawberry in right. The pitch on the way. Fouled upstairs, out of play. But that's a good sign that Sid has a good hop on his fastball. Gary Carter is behind the plate. The plate umpire tonight is Dutch Rennert. Joe West at first. Fred Brocklander at second. Doug Harvey, the senior arbiter in the league, is at third. And a ground ball hit toward the hole. Backhand play by Rafael. The throw, he got him. Oh, beautiful play by Santana. Against the speed of Billy Hatcher, he had to be lightning fast getting rid of the baseball. He did exactly that.
That was a great play. Rafael was playing deep in the hole and had to go to his right and in. Made the throw off balance going towards third base. A magnificent play because he had Hatcher by a good step and a half.
Now old scrap iron Phil Garner batting third in the order. He has platooned with Denny Walling all year long. Garner, the right-hand batter, plays against the left-handers. Fastball, strike call, let her high. And Sid Fernandez getting off very smoothly here for the youngsters starting for the first time in league championship play. Gary Carter putting the fingers down, giving the call on the next delivery. Here's the pitch on the way. Inside high, 1-1 to Phil Garner. Garner played against Bobby Ojeda in Game 2 of the series. He had 1 hit in 3 times at bat. Dennis Menke on the lines at third. On the coaching lines at first for Houston, Matt Galani. Fouled straight back and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Phil Garner. Glenn Davis is the on-deck batter. A day game tomorrow, Game 5. First pitch tomorrow at 3:05 in the afternoon. Tomorrow, Dwight Gooden for New York. Left-hander Jim DeShays for the Astros. Now the 1-2 delivery. Struck him out swinging. Good fastball by Sid Fernandez, and the young left-hander from Hawaii off to a beautiful start. They go in order. In the middle of inning 1, Houston nothing. The Mets coming to bat. For his 9th inning game-winning home run yesterday at Shea Stadium. Lenny 4 hits in 10 times at bat in the League Championship Series. And Mike Scott, who has been a dominating force in the National League this year, into his windup. The pitch, ground ball hit to shortstop. Up with the ball is Thon across the diamond in time for the out. Dickie Thon playing shortstop. Throws out Lenny Dykstra. Lenny moved up that time. He was trying to hit the ball to left field. He did what he wanted to do, but he couldn't find a hole for it.
That third baseman, Phil Garner, playing in on him, so he likes to try and drive that ball between short and third if he can. We got it on the ground, but not quite far enough over.
Now here's Wally Backman, who beat out a drag bunt in the 9th inning yesterday to set the stage for the victory. Wally 3 for 10 will be standing in against right-hander Mike Scott. The 31-year-old blonde right-hander, 19 and 10, 320 strikeouts, counting the 14 Wednesday night when he blanked the Mets 1-0 in the Astrodome. Here's the pitch on the way. Low inside. It is ball 1. Mike Scott will rely on a fastball that is a good one, about 89, sometimes 90 miles per hour. A slider, and of course his big weapon is the split-fingered fastball that will drop down and away from a left-hand hitter. He became only the 2nd right-hander in National League history to strike out over 300 batters. 1-0 delivery, just missing, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Keith Hernandez waiting on deck, and then Gary Carter. Hernandez has been one who has been able to hit Mike Scott over the years. Mike Scott really was never that hard to hit until the last 2 years after he came up with a split finger. 118 last year. Now he's 119, counting the playoff victory. Fly ball hit over toward the left field line. Easy play. Cruz moving over right on the line. Makes the catch. He actually stepped over the line onto the warning track in foul ground. So Wally has been retired, 2 down. You're keeping a scorecard. That was a foul ball. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Keith Hernandez. Leading hitter in the series with 5 for 11. Batting at .455. Keith has had at least 1 hit in each of the first 3 games of the series. This afternoon, the Red Sox made a dramatic comeback at Anaheim, California. They went to the 9th inning behind 5-2. But in the 9th inning, Don Baylor hit a 2-run homer. Dave Anderson a 2-run homer. Boston went ahead 6-5. California tied the game. The Red Sox won in the 11th inning 7-6. So they lost in 11 innings last night. They won in 11 innings today. Tomorrow, those American League teams are traveling back to Boston and Fenway Park, where they'll be playing on Tuesday. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way. Fastball inside. 1 ball, no strikes to Keith Hernandez. Keith hit .310 over the regular season. 13 home runs, 83 RBIs, a superb year. Now Scott sighting in as Ashby sets the target. Fastball strike call to the inside corner. On the infield for Houston, Glenn Davis playing first, Billy Doran at second, Dickie Thon at shortstop, and Phil Garner at third. Jose Cruz at left, Billy Hatcher in center, Kevin Bass around and right. Ground ball hit right at the second baseman, Billy Doran. He looks it into his glove, throws to Davis. Both teams go in order in the first inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. At the end of 1, no score.
Albany Savings Bank
Shut the Mets out 1-0 on Wednesday night at the Astrodome. In the second inning, Davis hit a home run off Dwight Gooden into the center field seats. That was to be the only run of the entire ballgame. Davis, a right-hand batter with awesome power. Pitch on the way, a strike call to the outside corner. Playoff games have been marvelous so far. Red Sox and Angels, 2 11-inning games in a row. They go back to Fenway now, with California leading 3-2. Final 2 are scheduled for Fenway Park. Kevin Bass, the on-deck batter, and then Jose Cruz. That's playing the infield deep and around to left against Davis. Curveball, strike call at the knees. Beautiful curveball by Sid Fernandez. During the regular year, Sid was 16-6 with a 3.52 ERA. And twice he defeated the Astros without losing. 2-strike delivery. Line drive down the left field line, foul ball, no play. And that was a soft line drive, not hit hard at all, but beyond the reach of third baseman Ray Knight.
Not a lot of room along the lines now for the series. They've added those extra seats on the inside of each dugout towards home plate, 3 rows of seats, and photographers' booths all the way down the line.
It has really cut down on foul territory. And a line drive toward right field, base hit for Glenn Davis. He is a good hitter. That again was not hit hard, but lined out over the infield and dropping into shallow right field. So now the Astros have the first base runner of the ball game, and it brings up a good hitter, Kevin Bass. Bass with 4 hits and 10 times at bat of the championship series. So a leadoff single by Glenn Davis. That's now with the infield playing for a double play. Remember, Sid Fernandez is primarily a fly ball out type pitcher. High pop foul, probably out of play. Ray Knight coming over, he'll run out of room, and the ball disappears into the crowd. People Express team of airlines, with their low prices, you can enjoy away games from the stands instead of your sofa. 1-strike count on Kevin Bass. Bass, a switch hitter, batting right-handed against Sid Fernandez. Now Fernandez will check the runner at first. The pitch on the way, caught the outside corner for a strike. Straight change by Sid, and a pretty good-looking pitch. Bass hit over 300 during the regular season, batting .311, and there are many who will tell you he might be their most valuable player. And the pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Struck him out. Got him with a high hardwood. Sid Fernandez notches number 2. And to the plate will come the veteran Jose Cruz.
Well, he's got that off-speed curve working with a very good fastball here tonight. When he has control of that, he really is untouchable.
That high rising fastball is a hard pitch to catch up with. At best, you're going to foul it back or pop the ball up. Now Jose Cruz, the veteran, seasoned hitter, and a good one. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Throw to first. Not in time, close. Diving back in, Glenn Davis. No score, top of the second here at Shea. Every seat taken, 55,000 or more. Day game tomorrow, and if necessary, the scene then will shift back to the Astrodome in Houston. Mets are hoping that they can win tonight and tomorrow and qualify for the World Series. Fernandez now looking into Gary Carter. Cruz holds that bat high up off the shoulder, swing and a miss. And a 2-strike count on Jose Cruz. During the regular year, if Sid had a problem, it usually popped up around the 6th or 7th inning. Crowd now beginning that rhythmic clapping, encouraging Fernandez. The pitch struck him out, swinging. He fans Jose Cruz, his 3rd strikeout. 2 men away, and the runner holding at first base. And to the plate will come another veteran, Alan Ashby. Ashby, switch hitter, he'll bat right. He has only 1 hit in 9 times at bat so far in the series. Now Fernandez again will check it out with Gary Carter. Glenn Davis with a very short lead at first base. And the pitch on the way is a fastball that is taken. 1 ball and no strikes. Alan Ashby batting right-handed against Sid Fernandez. Mets have the infield a step to left. and a breaking ball that misses. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The outfield is straight away. Lenny Dykstra straight away and fairly deep against Ashby, and a high pop foul moving over Ray Knight. I believe he'll have room near the railing. Nope, no play. It goes into those new seats that were inserted to get a few more people into the ballpark for the league championship series. During the regular season, that would have been playable.
That's playable and an easy out during the regular season. It would have been about 10 feet away from the stands, but with those added boxes down there along the line, not much room at all. Ray Knight got back and looked as though he actually was better set than Raffy was, but Santana called him off at the last minute, and Santana did not get over close enough to the boxes to reach in, or he might have had a play.
Yeah, I think Ray had the best shot at it, but the way it wound up in the seats, he probably could have not gotten into the crowd to make the play. The 2-1 delivery. Fastball low, ball 3, 3-1. No score, top of the second at Shea. Glenn Davis opened the second inning with a single to right. Bass was struck out. Cruz was struck out. But now Sid is behind on Ashby, 3-1, with Dickie Thon waiting on deck. Ground ball hit foul down the left field line. Now that was hit hard. He got around on it and he ripped it, but it was a foul ball. But Sid Fernandez has his good stuff going, and he usually does. Very few hitters will pull the ball. Count goes to 3-2 on Ashby. Batted .257 during the regular year, but he hit .278 as a right-hand batter. The Astros veteran backstop Alan Ashby. Santana is deep and over toward the hole of the left side of the infield, and Wally Backman is shaded toward the middle of the diamond. The runner will be going. There goes Davis. The pitch. High fly ball deep to left field. It is way back. It may go. Gone. A 2-run homer. A home run by Alan Ashby, and the Astros are on top, 2-0. He caught a 3-2 fastball and hit a home run. He had only 7 during the regular season, but he caught that one exactly right. He hit it into the left field bullpen.
Boy, he got a ladle on that one, I want to tell you. That ball was whacked. It was a fastball that stayed up high on him. He's a good high ball fastball hitter, and he just proved it right there. He got around on the fastball right up near the shoulders.
Now the hitter is Dickie Thon, the shortstop. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 1. Fernandez, the way he was looking, that came as kind of a thunderbolt. Not believing anybody was going to hit one the way he's been throwing here early in the ballgame. But Ashby got it just right, and the Mets are behind. Fastball for a strike call, as they were yesterday when they were trailing 4-0 going into the 6th inning. Then they rallied and tied the ball game. Houston regained the lead. Mets won it in the bottom half of the 9th inning. 2-strike delivery to right-hand hitter Dickie Thon, and a towering fly ball to center field. Lenny Dykstra is under it, lining it up, ready, makes the catch. So the inning is over, but it's a good one for Houston with right-hander Mike Scott on the mound. They get 2 runs on 2 hits, nobody left. At the end of an inning and a half, Houston 2 and New York nothing.
Mangino, Pontiac, and Buick has all the bases covered with their rank.
1 hit and 13 times at bat. Standing in against Mike Scott. Against Scott, it was a nightmare of a night. He was fanned 3 times. Fastball, inside, ball 1.
No, Bob, Ashby only has 42 career home runs, and he has 7 of them against the New York Mets.
He has been a long time a thorn in the side of the Mets, along with Phil Garner. Fastball high, 2 balls and no strikes. Phil Garner, ever since being traded by the Pirates to Houston for Johnny Ray, and that's a span of about 6 years, has really been tough on New York, and so has Alan Ashby. Ashby almost a 300 hitter against New York. Swing and a miss. 2-1 to Gary Carter. That was a pitch Carter really wanted. It was a fastball that was up. Carter went after it, but he could not catch up with it. Nobody on, nobody out. We're the last of the second. Mets must win tonight and tomorrow, or they go back to Houston. Here's the 2-1 delivery and a high pop-up on the infield. Dickie Thon, the shortstop, calling right behind second base. Under it, makes the catch. So Carter retired on a pop-up. And it brings up Darryl Strawberry, who hit a 3-run homer in yesterday's come-from-behind victory. It was the 40th time this year the Mets had come from behind to win a ball game. Big home run for Darryl Strawberry. He hit it off left-hander Bob Knepper, and Knepper had been such a tormentor of Strawberry all year long. Now Scott will wind, and the pitch on the way on the outside corner of the knees for a strike. Now stamina might be a problem for Mike Scott here tonight. A power pitcher likes 4 days of rest. Scott is working on 3 days of rest. Fastball just missing. It probably should not bother him the first 5 innings. But after 5 innings, after he's up around 75 or 80 pitches, it could take a toll, maybe not. Strawberry waiting, 1-1 delivery, swing and a miss. There's the split finger, and it was a good one. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's the pitch that can save him as far as getting tired is concerned. If he has good control of that, he can afford to throw that with a little less velocity so long as it's still moving for him.
Outfield around to right, 1-2 delivery, swing and a miss, struck him out. He took him out with a high hardwood. So Strawberry has been fanned. Scott, who's having such a remarkable year, has retired the first 5. He struck out 14 in beating the Mets 1-0 last Wednesday night. The only other right-hander in National League history to go over 300 was also an Astro. It was James Rodney Richard. Sandy Koufax, the strikeout king of the National League, holds the all-time record, 382. Now Mookie Wilson takes a strike call. Mookie only one-hitted 12 times at bat so far in the championship series. Ray Knight is waiting on deck. For Gary Carter, for Mookie Wilson, for Ray Knight, it has been a very slow start. Foul back and a 2-strike count on Mookie Wilson. The Astros in front 2-0 on a 2-run homer by Alan Ashby. He caught a 3-2 fastball thrown by Sid Fernandez. He hit it into the left field bullpen. Now the 31-year-old right-hander from California, Mike Scott, winding. Low and inside a split finger. 1 ball and 2 strikes. At the time Roger Craig taught Mike Scott the split finger, he was out of baseball. And a bouncing ball slowly hit the shortstop. Grabbed by Thon. The throw retires the side. And Scott has retired the first 6. At the end of 2 innings at Shea Stadium, Houston 2 and New York 0.
Left-hander ready. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swung on and foul back again.
Gary, I remember when Mike Scott came up from Tidewater and joined the Mets. His career was going nowhere. He wound up 14-27 with New York. But the manager at that time, Joe Torre, a very shrewd observer, said someday he's going to make it, and I'll tell you why. He's a magnificent competitor. He's never scared out there. He's tough.
He has proven that. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, tied him up, but it's up high. He's been a magnificent competitor. In the toughest situations, he's one of those ball players who appears to perform best when you got the pedal down hard, such as the clinching game no-hitter. 1-2 pitch, again fooled by a curve, but it's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The year before he came up to New York, he had a very good year at Tidewater. And when he came to New York, they said, if you get to the tough moment, this guy should pitch for you, because he has that type of temperament.
He's doing that in this series. 2-2 delivery by Sid is swung on and missed. Struck him out. Sid Fernandez striking out the opposing pitcher and picking up his 4th strikeout of the game. Sid, of course, finished with exactly 200 strikeouts, doing that in a save performance in the last game of the season and the final out of the regular season when Sid Fernandez struck out his 200th batter. So he ended up striking out 200 in 204 innings. Pretty darn good ratio. Giving up only 161 hits. What costs him the most? 91 bases on balls. Pitch is up high to Bill Doran, the leadoff batter, who grounded out his first time up. Sid walked 91 in those 204 innings, and they always seem to come right together. 2 or 3 in an inning when you'd have that one bad inning a game. Left-hander's 1-0 pitch. Fastball in the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. Doran against Sid Fernandez, 3 for 10 during this past season. 7 for 22 in his career against this left-hander. Doran, a switch hitter. They have a lineup filtered with them. Pitch is swung on and missed. Off-speed curve, 1-2. Doran switch hitter, as is Bash, and Ashby the catcher, of course. Cruz, the only man in the Astro lineup who will be batting left-handed against Sid Fernandez. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Fans applauding for another K. The left-hander's pitch swung on, a ground ball towards second. Backman to his right, takes the short hop, throws to first, retiring Doran. 2 down. 2 away, nobody on in the third. Astros leading by a score of 2-0, and it will bring up Billy Hatcher. Hatcher grounded out his first time up. Ironically, last year in this Houston ball club, 4 of the 5 switch hitters they had, the 5th Jerry Mumphrey is not with the club, hit better from the left side of the plate. This year it has been exactly the opposite. Hard to explain those things. They vary from year to year. Right-handed batter Hatcher takes it down low, ball 1.
When they traded Jerry Mumphrey to the Cubs for young Billy Hatcher, nobody realized it at the moment, but they made quite a trade.
Yeah, they sure did. They got themselves a first-class center fielder. Swung on, hit in the air to center. Lenny Dykstra moving over towards right, putting the arm up for the baseball. He's got it. Sid Fernandez retires the side in order. We've completed 2.5 innings. Astros 2, Mets nothing. Long ball to their advantage. Jumping out on top, and Mike Scott usually doesn't need a lot of runs to work with. Scott has won his last 5 ball games, including the one against the New York Mets in this series. Ray Knight. Delivery to him is foul back, strike 1. Scott has given up 1 run in his last 27 innings, including the 2 pitched here tonight. In the last of the season, he gave up only 1 run to the Giants prior to pitching that no-hitter, and then came on and shut out the New York Mets. You talk about some outstanding work on the mound. You're looking at a guy right there who's, you're just not getting anything off. Nobody is. Ray Knight against him. 0 for 4 in the first game. Ground ball to third. Nice play made by Garner over to first, and they get Ray Knight. And that's 7 in a row. Rafael Santana, 2 for 9 in the series. Had a hit and 2 times up against Scott. In the first game, Scott pitched, and in Santana's career, he's had 2 hits and 10 times up against Mike Scott. Rafael Santana finished the season for the New York Mets batting .218, well below career average. Pitches inside for a ball. Raffy had a real tough season at the plate. His career average has dropped down to .245 as a result of a bad season at the plate, but he has hit well against Houston. Batted .278 against them this season. Inside, the count is 2-0. Of all people, Rafael Santana had one of the best averages for the New York Mets at the Astrodome, hitting .375 in the Dome this year. The 2-0 delivery to him. Swung on, ground ball to third again. Big hop for Phil Garner. Throw over to first base. Davis has it. That'll retire Santana, and they're at 2 down. A couple of assists for Phil Garner at third base, and it'll bring up Sid Fernandez. Mike Scott has struck out 10 or more in 5 of the last 7 starts he's had. This season he struck out the side 26 times. Interestingly, tonight he has picked up 1 strikeout. He's getting the ground balls.
That might be very helpful to him.
Very. Pitch swung on, another one hit towards first. It'll be played by Davis. Pitcher covering. They've got the out. It'll save him a lot of pitches if he continues to work like this, which of course will keep him strong. He retires the Mets in order, and at the end of 3, Astros 2, Mets nothing. First hit, all 9 batters have been retired by Mike Scott. Phil Garner leading it off. Third in the order, takes it high and inside, ball 1. Garner with a .265 season at the plate, but a .370 season against the New York Mets. Sid Fernandez delivers to him, swung on and popped up in the shallow right. Wally Backman is calling for it. He's on the outfield grass and has it. 1 down. Garner retired. That'll bring up Glenn Davis, the first baseman, to be followed by Kevin Bass. Davis in the series now has 4 hits in 12 times to the plate. He's done pretty well against left-hander Sid Fernandez. as he has picked up in his career 5 hits and 14 times up against El Cid. 1 down, nobody on. Right-handed batter takes a breaking ball outside, ball 1. They really play the cleanup batter Davis to pull. Rafael Santana's in the hole at shortstop and way back and swung way over towards third base. Ray Knight is guarding the line and deep at third. Wally Backman way over towards second. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Good pitch low and on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. New York Mets with their victory here at Shea yesterday, now 9-2 historically over 25 years in postseason play at Shea Stadium. Pitch is inside, just missed. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You know, by coming from behind to win yesterday, they have beaten the Astros now 6 out of 7 at Shea. They're going to have to come from behind again.
Yep, against the ball club. The Houston Astros that came from behind themselves all season. Foul back on an inside fastball. Sid Fernandez gets the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Astros ball club had that incredible record of 24 wins in their last time at bat.
That is incredible.
They did. So many of those were all in a streak there. They won a lot of those ball games all in a row in the second half of the season.
Right after the All-Star break, they got red hot.
They were winning games in the last of the 9th inning day after day. They had 39 come from behind wins. 2-2 delivery, breaking ball, just missed inside. Gary Carter thought he had a strike on it. He's going to take the ball out to Sid Fernandez now as the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. El Cid walks to the front of the mound listening to Gary Carter.
Carter remembering what happened the last time the count went 3-2 with Alan Ashby batting. He got a fastball up and out over the plate.
Carter, after the conversation, comes back, making sure they know what they're going to throw on this occasion. 3-2, 1 down, nobody on. Davis, a real power hitter, 31 home runs during the season. Pitch is a breaking ball down low. He walked him. First walk.
He didn't want to throw the fastball to that home run hitter with a count 3-2 for fear maybe of getting it out over the plate again.
So he puts him on and will face Kevin Bass. Bass has had the best series thus far as hits are concerned. 4 hits and 11 times to the plate. He has had a home run off Sid Fernandez this season. The only starter for the Astros in the lineup to homer off Sid this year. And Bass went 3 for 9 against him. One of those hits being a homer. Pitch is popped up behind home plate. Gary Carter will come back and they'll have no play on it. Strike 1. Bass, a switch hitter who finished 4th in the National League in average, hitting at .311. Very little difference, right or left-handed. He hit .302 left-handed and .324 right-handed, and he had almost as many time at bats both ways. He had 7 home runs left-handed, 13 home runs right-handed. 0-1 pitch to him is swung on, popped up second base. Backman on the outfield grass is underneath it. Waiting. He's got it. Kevin Bass retired, and there are 2 down. 2 away. Davis remains on at first base, and the only left-handed batter in the lineup, Jose Cruz, who struck out his first time up. Cruz 3 for 16 against Sid Fernandez as the left-hander celebrates his 24th birthday by making his first postseason start in the major leagues. 2-0 Astros lead. Sid will step off, looking over to Davis at first base. Glenn Davis has decent speed. He's not a real threat to be stealing a base at any particular point in the game, but at the same time, you better keep an eye on him. The delivery swung on. Cruz hits it to right field. Darryl Strawberry moving over to center and in. Ranging under it. He's got it. Fernandez is out of the inning and continues to throw good strikes. No runs, no hits. A base runner left on. At the end of 3.5, Astros 2, Mets 18 in that 7-game series. The National League Championship records held by Tom Seaver. The Mets-Reds matchup, he struck out 17 in a series that went 5 games. But as we mentioned, he's actually doing much better tonight. He's only had 1 strikeout. He's throwing fewer pitches, getting a lot of easy ground balls. Lenny Dykstra leads it off, stepping up, takes the pitch on the outside corner, a strike called. Lenny will have Phil Garner moving in on him at third base. Lenny had a home run against Mike Scott during the regular season. Only he and Gary Carter did that for the New York Mets against Scott, who gave up 17 home runs on the year. 0-1 pitch. Fastball, strike at the letters. Mike Scott just putting him in the strike zone as Lenny wants to get on. 0-2, but Scott's going to make him hit it. Scott did not have a decision against New York in only one game in the regular season. He went 8 1/3 innings in that one. Had a great game until the very end, then got nailed. Came out. Houston ultimately won it. Pitches down low for a ball, but he was non-decision in it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lenny Dykstra. Lenny grounded out his first time up, 4 for 11 in the series. This year he's had 3 hits and 10 times up against Mike Scott. Garner moves back at third now, even with the bag, with a 1-2 count. Right-hander winds and delivers, swung on and hit in the air to second base. Moving behind the bag, Billy Doran. He calls for it and hasn't. Dykstra's retired, 1 down. That's 10 in a row retired by Mike Scott. Wally Backman coming up. Wally flied out to left field his first time up. Cruz caught it going into foul territory just over the line. Scott facing left-handers in the Mets lineup with Dykstra, Backman, and Hernandez starting it out. Strawberry and Wilson down towards the middle of the order. Wally, outstanding season for him, finished at .320. Ground ball chopped towards first. Tough play. Davis has it. Goes to tag him. Wally gets tripped by the pitcher. Is tagged out. And what's the call? He's on first base. Wally Backman got tripped by the pitcher Mike Scott. We'll have an argument again because again Wally went outside the base running lanes as happened yesterday, and here comes Hal Lanier again.
Well, he had no choice but to go out on the baseline that time, trying to avoid a collision with Mike Scott. Lanier, of course, will be arguing that the fielder is entitled to an opportunity to field the ball. However, the interpretation on the play yesterday, Gary, was that if the runner had gone by, once he had gone by, it could not have been tagged out. He can create his own running lane. Once, in the umpire's opinion, the fielder is not going to be able to tag him out. I think that time he had to run out there to avoid that collision.
He did. He had the first baseman coming in and Scott coming over. Who was going to field the ball? Well, the first baseman fielded it. Scott kept going. Clear interference because Scott never had the baseball. So he can't argue that Backman interfered with the fielder because the ball was already in the glove of first baseman Glenn Davis. But I want to let you know Lanier right now and Joe West are having a good one. Lanier's right in his face. At this point, he probably doesn't care whether the call was right or wrong. He's seen it 2 days in a row now and wants to air it out a little bit. The other umpire's letting Lanier go. He's not hollering loud at him. He's just staying in the face of Joe West. They're going to call it.
Should be an error on Mike Scott.
An error on Scott.
But Mike Scott, as you point out, Gary, did not have the baseball. Davis had the ball. Scott had his momentum. He was running for the ball. He couldn't stop himself. But he definitely turned Lenny Dykstra over like a car on a cartwheel.
Ironic how that would happen 2 days in a row. That it would be Wally Backman.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Ruling yesterday, Lanier might get thrown out of this game. He's really in the face of Joe West. And he's refusing to leave. What Lanier is saying right now to Joe West is check with the home plate umpire, Dutch Renner. Now the National League senior umpire, Doug Harvey, has come over now from third base and is stepping between Joe West, who made the call, and Hal Lanier. Mets are going to have a base runner, and I think rightfully so.
I think he had a better argument yesterday than he does today, because on this occasion, Wally was absolutely the victim. Scott kept coming. Wally was trying to get away from Scott. He only moved out of the line because Scott was coming at him. Scott tripped him. He fell down short of the bag. Davis dove for him and tagged him. But the first base umpire, Joe West, was pointing at Scott, indicating the interference already, even before the tag was made by Davis.
Yeah, if Scott had the ball, it's a different story, but Glenn Davis had the ball.
Yep. So the error's on the pitcher, and it'll bring up Keith Hernandez. That is the Mets' first base runner on an error. Hernandez grounded out his first time up. Scott all this time has been standing on the mound waiting. Go to first base, Wally back. Keith Hernandez, 5 hits and 12 times up in this series. He was 1 for 4 against Scott in the first game Mike Scott pitched against New York. Hernandez finished up, of course, hitting at .310 on the year. 2-0 Astros are out on top. Hernandez represents the tying run at the plate. Scott to the belt. The delivery to Keith is up high. Ball 1. Wally Backman this season finished up with 13 stolen bases and 21 chances. Neither catcher, Carter nor Ashby, has thrown out a base runner in this series. The Astros are 5 for 5, and the New York Mets are 3 for 3. Scott's 1-0 delivery swung on and fouled off down the left field line and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Keith Hernandez battling here, trying to move the base runner up and get on himself. Really nice evening. It was 58 degrees at game time. Partly cloudy skies, but very, very comfortable. Not at all as cold as it might have been. Throw to first, Backman back.
Weather forecast calling for almost summer-like weather tomorrow.
Gonna like that.
May get up as high as 70 degrees.
Ideal time for that Indian summer to move in.
Foliage is beautiful now. Indian summer is certainly here, I think.
1 ball, 1 strike. Throw again. Quick throw. He dives back in. Backman to the bag safely.
Boy, that would have been interesting had he been picked off. It would not have counted. The plate umpire had called timeout for Keith Hernandez. Then you would have had a dandy of an argument.
Amazing how all these things get amplified when you get in the pressure cooker of playoff baseball. Every little move matters. Hernandez steps back in. 1-1 count on him. Keith hit .308 against the Astros this year. The delivery, Backman goes, swung on a miss, throw by Ashby, not in time. Stolen base for Wally Backman. The Mets are 4 for 4 against the Astros. And Backman gets himself in scoring position with a 1-2 count on Keith Hernandez. Wally Backman with a stolen base.
Mets were actually playing run and hit or hit and run. You're never really sure, I suppose. But Hernandez had a good cut at the ball, just didn't get it. And Keith is the one guy Davey really likes to hit and run with.
First stolen base for Backman in the series. Keith will step out now as Scott gets ready to deliver. Hernandez, .455 for an average in the series thus far. 1-2 delivery to him, up high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Keith, who led the National League in walks, already has 2 in the series.
When Scott throws that split-fingered fastball to a left-hand hitter like Keith Hernandez, it will break down and away. And about the only thing Keith can do is try to hit it to left center field.
Or foul it off, one or the other. Just trying to protect the plate. 2-2 count. Backman at second. Here's the delivery. Swung on, hit down the left field line. It'll be a foul ball. Got that one sliced. He did what he wanted to do. He wanted to go to left field with it. Laid the bat on it. Got good wood on it. But the slice took it outside the line, and everybody moves back. 2-2 count. Keith Hernandez hitting just below the 300 mark with runners in scoring position this season.
The left fielder, Jose Cruz, playing closer to that left field line than he normally would because of that split finger that breaks down and away from the left-hand hitter. He's not too far from the left field line.
Hernandez waiting. Scott to the belt. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and foul back. Hernandez hangs tough. Keith this season with runners in scoring position. Ended up with a .294 batting average. Gary Carter at .280. They had the most times at bat with runners in scoring position. And obviously were effective when you get up around that 300 mark.
Table setters did a great job for them.
They get on. Guys in the middle produced. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Scott again delivers. Hernandez rips the ball towards second base on a pop. Throw to first. They'll get him, and Backman goes back to the bag. A blooper Wally Backman wasn't sure whether the ball was going to be caught in the air or not, so he was straddling, trying to stay out of the way of the shortstop, Dickie Thorne, who ultimately fielded it. Good pitch by Mike Scott that time as he ran one down low and in.
Good base running job by Wally Backman. He very easily could have been hung up on that.
Wally was kind of darting back and forth off second base, trying to figure out whether to go or not. Ends up at second with 2 down and Gary Carter up.
You know, the Mets haven't yet hit a ball hard off Mike Scott.
Have not done so. Have one fly ball. Pitch to Carter's inside, ball 1.
The only thing he even hit hard at all was a foul ball hit by Keith Hernandez. This ball is moving so much they're just hitting weak ground balls and pop-ups.
Carter's having a tough series. 1 hit in 14 times up. He popped out his first time up in this one. Gary with a good average against Scott in his career, 323. Swung on and fouled off. That was not a good swing. Really ran the ball in on him. That pitch is moving in. It did on the left-hander Keith Hernandez, and it did on the right-hander Gary Carter.
You know, I think when you talk about averages against Mike Scott, you have to throw out everything that happened prior to the last year and this year.
Different pitcher.
Completely different.
Once he got the split fingered, entirely different. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, 1 on. Astros lead 2-0. Scott's pitch is outside and low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Darryl Strawberry waiting on deck. Wally Backman on at second base. The Mets still do not have a hit against Mike Scott in this game, and Backman, the first base runner, reached on the error. Gary Carter finished up hitting at .255 in the regular season. 2-1 pitch, swung on, a ground ball to third will be foul. He was out in front of that one, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Backman will go back to second base. Outfield playing Carter deep and straight away. Infield back needing only the 1 out to get out of this inning. Backman will get a good lead off second. They have no shift in the infield against Carter. The 2-2 delivery to him. Swung on and missed. Got him on a check swing. No argument on that one. Second strikeout. He fooled him on a pitch that was out of the strike zone. So no runs, no hits, an error. 1 left on base, and after 4, Astros 2, Mets nothing.
Against Dwight Gooden. DeShays on the July 3rd pitched against the Mets, and in 7 innings struck out 11. He did not win that game. Ground ball hit foul, no play. Ron Darling started against Jim DeShays. DeShays left after 7 innings. He fanned 11. Mets won the game in the 10th inning on home runs by Darryl Strawberry and Ray Knight off Frank DiPino, who's no longer a Houston Astro.
The Mets regret that.
Yeah, they wish that trade had never been made. They really hit DiPino. 2-strike delivery. Grounder foul down the left field line, no play. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 5th inning, and 2-0 Houston. If the series goes back to Houston, Game 6 would probably be Bobby Ojeda and Nolan Ryan. Game 7, Ron Darling and Mike Scott. High and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whether or not Davey would want to start Dwight Gooden on short rest in a 7th and deciding game remains to be seen. Probably Ron Darling with Dwight Gooden in the bullpen, but that's strictly a guess. When you go to that 7th game, everybody goes to the bullpen. Off-speed delivery outside. 2-2 on Alan Ashby. Ashby hit .257 during the regular year. Santana way over in the hole at short, playing Ashby as a pull hitter. And Ray Knight deep behind the bag at third. Pitching 2-2. High fly ball, well hit to left center. It's deep. Dykstra way back by the wall. Makes the catch. Dykstra went to the wall in left center field, reached up, and he made the catch. And Ashby knows how to hit Sid.
Boy, if he had pulled that one the way he pulled the first one he hit, he would have had another home run, but he hit that one in the alleyway right by the 396 mark. Both of the times he's hit against Sid Fernandez, he's had that ball way up in the air.
He knows how to time Sid's fastball. 1 out and nobody on. Dickie Thon is the batter. Pitch on the way to the shortstop, right-hand hitter, strike call to the outside corner. Dickie Thon, 2 hits and 6 times at bat so far in the series. Batted .248 over the season. Well hit fly ball deep to left field, way back. It may go at the wall, jumping Mookie, and he cannot get it. Gone. Home run, Dickie Thon. And they came awfully close to having back-to-back home runs. Dickie Thon belting a home run. For Dickie Thon, that'll be his 3rd home run of the year. And the Astros are in front 3-0, delivering the long ball against Sid Fernandez. And I want to tell you, Ashby didn't miss one by very much.
And that one was a real home run. But when you least expect it is becoming the story of home runs in this series.
Now the pitch on the way to Mike Scott. Well, the 2 home runs have come from the 7th and 8th batters in the order. Ashby hitting 7th, Dickie Thon batting 8th. Now Houston has a 3-0 lead, and they have Mike Scott on the mound. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Looks like they're taking the curveball and sitting on the fastball. Now the pitch on the way, fouled upstairs and out of play. Houston 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. New York no runs, no hits, and no errors. Mike Scott was fanned his first time up. 2 home runs allowed by Sid, and the Astros with a 3-0 lead. Foul ball off the end of the bat. Back up toward the press level. It'll be out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Sid only gave up 13 home runs during the regular season, which is not bad for 204 innings, and only Kevin Bass had 1 for Houston. Now he's given up 2 in this game.
Now Sid looking in to Gary Carter. The 1-2 delivery, strike 3, caught him looking. Good curveball. And that will be strikeout number 5 for Sid Fernandez. And we pause for station identification on the New York Mets Baseball Network.
The Capital District's AM stereo radio station, 1540 WPTR Albany, the official home of the New York Mets.
Bob Murphy with Gary Thorne. We're in the visiting 5th inning at Shea. Crowd of better than 55,000 filling the big ballpark in Queens. Now Billy Doran, the leadoff batter, is up. Batting right-handed, he's 0 for 2. Fastball, strike call to the outside corner. Funny thing, Sid has allowed only 3 hits. 2 of the 3 have been homers. The other was a very soft single to right field by Glenn Davis. That's with the infield and the outfield straight away. Billy Doran looks at a breaking ball inside low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hand hitter Billy Doran. Actually a switch hitter batting right. Hit .305 as a right-hand batter. Now he lays off and is high and away 2-1. And he batted .278 on the year. Billy Doran, one of the best second basemen in the National League, which, by the way, has really become a glamour position. So many real good second basemen in the National League. 2-1 delivery. He lays off, strike call to the knees, and the count is 2-2. Billy Doran getting out of the batter's box, relaxing himself for a moment. Now Fernandez will check it out with Gary Carter. Doran, the leading base stealer on the Houston Ball Club. 2-2 delivery, got a piece of it, a foul ball, no play. 42 steals during the regular season. Excellent defensive ball player, good hitter, good base stealer. Just a very, very good ball player. Brian Sandberg of the Cubs wins the Gold Glove. Billy Doran is not very far behind. And Wally Backman is right there with any of them. 2-2 delivery, foul back. The fact that Wally is a platoon player deprives him a chance of getting any real individual recognition as a second baseman around the league.
In fact, he plays for the Mets. Ironically, really doesn't help Wally get publicity because there's so many other people on this ball club who get so much more.
Genuine superstars. Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, a budding Darryl Strawberry. Sid now with a count of 2-2. The pitch on the way. High pop-up into shallow left. Santana going out. Here comes Mookie. He'll be under it. Makes the catch in short left field. But a home run by Dickie Thon. 1 run on 1 hit, nobody left. Now we're halfway at the end of 4 1/2 innings. Houston 3 and New York nothing. Game. Darryl Strawberry, the batter. Fastball, strike 1 called. Mets are batting for Agnello Maiorino of Brooklyn and Helen Watkins of Greenwood Lake, New York. The Mets hit a home run, they'll be $1,000 richer. Now the pitch on the way, and a towering foul ball. It'll be out of play, dropping into the crowd down the right field line. And if there are no cash winners tonight in the Daily News Hometown Homer Contest, each will receive an AM/FM stereo radio Mets hat, the Hat Man. Right now, the Mets would like to have a hit man. Here's the 2-strike delivery. Low outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mets are without a base hit as they face Mike Scott here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. They've had only 1 base runner. Wally Backman reached to the last inning on an error charged to Mike Scott. Pitching 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Got him with a fastball in on him. 3rd strikeout for Mike Scott. Now Mookie Wilson will be coming up. Mookie 1 for 13 in postseason play. Mookie has always been a hot and cold batter. Unfortunately, his bat has been cold so far in the League Championship Series. It could get hot overnight. Now Scott will wind. The pitch on the way. Ground ball hit to shortstop. Hop snagged by Dickie Thon. Now to Davis, quickly 2 men down. And Mike Scott is throwing very few pitches so far in this game tonight. He has 3 strikeouts. He has not walked a batter. He's been getting ground ball outs. And with the way things are going, he should be able to stay strong for 8 or 9 innings without any trouble at all. Ray Knight killing some time here now, trying to upset Mike Scott's tempo. He's in an excellent groove and anxious to work in a hurry. That's her batting for Agnello Maiorino of Brooklyn and Helen Watkins of Greenwood Lake, New York. Now Ray Knight will kill a little more time before standing in against Mike Scott. Ray is 0 for 1. He grounded out to 3rd. Mets trailing 3-0 in the home 5th inning. Now the pitch on the way and a drive down the right field line. Foul ball. Goes over into the crowd. He broke his bat. So Ray will need another bat, and then he'll return to the plate.
No question that the charts must show that first ball hitting is something you want to do against Mike Scott. That's the pitcher most likely to get the fastball on, not have to look at that split-fingered, because almost every Mets, if it's a strike, they're first ball hitting in this ball game.
Veteran right-hander Danny Darwin, who was acquired from Milwaukee late in the year to be a 5th starter, getting in a little workout in the Astro bullpen. Not warming up, I am sure, with any intention of being in this game. Now the pitch on the way. Foul ball back on the screen. The way Mike Scott is going, he will not need any help. Funny thing is, though, early in the year, he was pitching this kind of game against New York. He had the Mets shut out going to the 9th inning, and Houston was ahead 4-0. But the Mets knocked him out in the 9th inning, scored 4 runs, and tied the game up in the 9th. Roger McDowell up now, the New York Mets bullpen. Roger hasn't been in a game yet. Now the pitch on the way. Ground ball, base hit to left field. There is the first hit of the game off Mike Scott. A sharp single through the hole into left field. And the reason McDowell is up, the Mets can keep it going here. If Santana can get aboard, then we would see a pinch hitter for Sid Fernandez.
It's one of the few pitches Mike Scott has had up in the strike zone. He got that one up just a little bit above the belt down the middle of the plate. You know you're in a championship series. Every time a pitcher gets a pitch in the strike zone, somebody ladles it.
1 out, 2 outs rather, and 1 on. Santana, the hitter. Right-hander against right-hander. Inside corner for a strike call. Dutch Rennert calling him off behind the bat here tonight. Joe West at first. Brett Brocklander at second. Doug Harvey at third. On the foul lines, Lee Wire and Frank Pulley. They play Santana to hit the ball the other way. And a high pop-up. It should retire the side easily. Glenn Davis right behind the first base bag. Takes it for the out, and the inning is over. No runs, a single by Ray Knight. A man left on. At the end of 5 at Shea, Houston 3 and New York nothing.
Come on down.
As we go to the 6th. Probably the last inning of work for Sid. He's due to bat in the bottom half of the inning. He actually has pitched a beautiful ball game. Just 2 mistakes. High high fly ball hit the left center. Easy play for Lenny Dykstra. He's under it, has it, and that retires Billy Hatcher. Hatcher, the center fielder, hitting second in the order. Sky is out, hitting the first delivery. Now old scrap iron Phil Garner will be coming up. Long-time nemesis of the New York Mets, Phil Garner, held in check so far here tonight. He has struck out and popped up 0-for-2. Mets will spread the infield out against Garner, the right-hand batter. And the pitch by Sid is inside and high, ball one. Boy, you have to look twice at Garner to recognize him these days. For so many years, he wore that big handlebar mustache. Then he took it off. Looks totally different.
Wanted to get younger quick, huh?
That's one way to do it. The 1-0 delivery. Swing and a foul tip, no play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Garner, hitting third in the order. Al Lanier has made some marvelous moves, obviously, as a rookie manager. One of the good moves was going to a platoon at third with Phil Garner and Denny Walling. Garner has been around a long time, and probably the rest has been very helpful to him. Walling has had a superb year. Fly ball straight away to center. Len Dykstra just standing under it, waiting for it. 2 men down. 2 up and 2 set aside. It brings up Davis.
They made the announcement in the press box that Danny Darwin is warming up to be used in the ball game. He's not just throwing on the side, and they're going to use him if they need to take Scott out or he gets tired, I guess.
Boy, he has shown no sign of either one of those things so far.
Darwin can warm up real slow at this point of the ball game.
Mets have hit exactly 1 ball hard in the game, and that was the ball hit by Ray Knight for a single. Glenn Davis, the hitter. Off-speed delivery, inside and high. 1 ball and no strikes. Danny Darwin continuing to throw fairly easily out of the bullpen. Swing and a miss and a high hard one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sid Fernandez probably pitching his last inning. Due to lead off when the Mets come in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Houston in front, 3-0. The 1-1 delivery. Swing and a foul ball straight back. Now 1-2 on Glenn Davis. He had a soft single to right field in the 2nd inning. Was on base when with 2 down, Alan Ashby caught a 3-2 fastball and parked it in the left field bullpen, giving Houston a 2-0 lead. In the 5th inning, Dickie Thon hit a home run to make it 3-0. Pitching 1-2. High and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mets are playing Davis as a strong pull hitter. 31 home runs, 101 RBIs during the regular season. He won the opening game of the LCS with a home run off Dwight Gooden. 2-2 delivery up high, ball 3. Full count, 3-2. Third time that Sid has faced this situation. First time it came up on 3-2, Ashby hit a home run off of a fastball. The next time it came up, he walked Glenn Davis. He threw him a breaking ball on 3-2 the last time up. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Fastball, foul straight back. Boy, he challenged him that time. He came right after him, throwing nothing but heat.
He's throwing good heat because Davis is looking for a fastball and has taken an enormous cut up there, corkscrew cut, and still is not able to catch up with the fastball.
Kevin Bass, the on-deck batter. In 5 of the 6 innings of this ball game, Sid has retired the leadoff batter. Davis led off the 2nd with a base hit. The inning they scored 2 runs. High pop-up behind home plate. Carter getting rid of the mask. He'll have a play. He's under it. Grabs it for the out. Beautiful inning by Sid Fernandez. Give the left-hander a pat on the back. He's pitched to Dandy. No runs, no hits, nobody left. In the middle of the 6th inning is Shea. It remains Houston 3 and New York. They didn't show up.
No, Milwaukee only won. That was the magic point for him, and it's just that you make a couple of mistakes with Mike Scott being the opposing pitcher, and that's about all you have to do to lose a ball game.
Now Lee Mazzilli will bat for Sid Fernandez. Mazzilli delivered a hard single to center field as a pinch hitter in yesterday's ball game. Maz will be hitting left-handed against Mike Scott. They were New York Met teammates. And a fastball strike on the inside corner. But in those days, Scott, a young right-hander, did not have the superb repertoire of pitches that he now possesses. Not in his arsenal in those days was the split-fingered fastball. And the pitch on the way, and a swing and a miss, strike 2. Maz tried to hold up. He knew he had been had. He was too late. Scott not only has that great split finger, a good fastball and slider, but magnificent control. He gets ahead of just about every hitter. 2-strike delivery, high and away. He has not walked a batter here tonight. Mets have hit only one ball hard, a single by Ray Knight in the last inning. The real moment of truth of this series goes to the 7th game. And the Mets are up against Mike Scott. Inside a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and it could very well happen.
Very well happen.
Tomorrow, a day game. First pitch at 3:05. Jim Deshaies is a very hard-throwing young left-hander who was 12-5 for the Astros. Ball 3 high and away. Well, Maz had a 2-strike disadvantage. Now a full count of 3-2. Maz will rarely ever help a pitcher out. He did help Scott out on the second pitch he threw. Now it's 3-2. The payoff delivery. Foul back, no play. Fought that one off. He had to fight off a split finger, and he did so. Nobody on, nobody out. Last of the 6th inning, and the Mets trailing 3-0. They came to bat in the 6th inning yesterday behind 4-0. In that inning, they exploded, getting 4 runs to tie it up. Pitching 3-2. Struck him out, swinging. He got Mazzilli on a high hardwood. 4 strikeouts now for Mike Scott, and that should enable him to tie an LCS record.
That ties him with Dave Stieb for 18 strikeouts in a championship series for either league. That's the record. Scott may just got a half a game to go here, and maybe another one.
He may break the record before this half inning is over. Lenny Dykstra, the leadoff batter, is 0 for 2. Bounced to short and popped up to second. Left-hander hitting out of a crouch. Way inside, he jackknifes away from the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Third baseman Phil Garner playing way in on the grass, challenging Lenny Dykstra. Dykstra oftentimes will try to move up and hit the ball to left field against this. Swing and a foul tip, no play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dykstra. The baseball show so far tonight has been all Mike Scott. 31-year-old right-hander who was signed out of Pepperdine by the New York Mets. Later traded to the Astros for Danny Heap. His career looked like it was about over, or certainly going no place. 3 years ago, he was 5-11. Then came the split finger. Infield to the outfield, around to right. On the outside corner, a strike call. And as usual, he is ahead of the batter.
He has not been behind more than, I don't know if he's been behind a batter in this ball game. Looking at my sheet here.
I don't know whether he has or not.
I don't think he has.
He's been ahead of it just about every hitter. And that is a magnificent way to pitch. It is the name of the game. If you can do that, you're going to be successful. Now the windup and the 1-2 delivery. Up high. Oh, Dykstra held the swing just in the nick of time. He's pitching on 3 days rest instead of 4. Everybody had been speculating he's a power pitcher. Power pitchers normally want 4 days of rest. But if he's tiring, he's certainly not telling anybody about it or showing anybody. 2-2 on Len Dykstra. Wally Backman, the on-deck hitter. Now the pitch on the way, and a ground ball pull foul. Boy, that split figure was down around his ankles, and somehow he managed to get a bat on it. And he wasted it off, so the count is 2-2. That was really a nasty pitch to try and foul off, or to try to make contact against.
How many split-fingered fastball pitchers we'll have in baseball next year? Everybody who didn't win 20 games is going to be trying to throw it in the offseason.
And those who don't have the split finger will want a shoulder operation after what Roger Clemens did. 2-2 on Len Dykstra. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. There's the new record. He got him with a high hard one. 5 strikeouts for Mike Scott. He's just awesome. Hard to believe that here is a pitcher a couple of years ago that was 5-11. 14-27 in his 3 years plus with the New York Mets. Hard to believe that one pitch can turn something around so dramatically.
It's done it for him, and it is out of the strike zone. That pitch was out of the strike zone. It was up high. You just can't lay off it, though, because there's so much movement on it.
2 outs and nobody on. Wally Backman, the hitter. Fastball for a strike call. Houston, 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. New York, no runs, only 1 hit, a single by Ray Knight. All Mike Scott. Here he is, ahead of the hitter as always. Up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't think he's had a 3-2 count.
No, and he's thrown the most innings of anyone in the National League this season. So you're talking about someone who has a legitimate right to be tired.
He had 275 innings to lead the league for the regular season. Now the pitch, missing wide, and the count is 2-1. Wally Backman would love to get on for Keith Hernandez. Keith has done the best hitting job against Mike Scott of anybody on the ball club. Keith just missed an extra base at his last time up with a foul ball. Strike call, it's 2-2. The split finger is not the only pitch that Scott will throw by any means. He'll throw a good fastball that'll be up and in. Has a pretty good slider and, of course, the split finger. Count 2-2 on Wally Backman. The pitch on the way. Ball 3 up high. There's one, a 3-2 count. First one we have seen, I believe.
Mets have really let go of that scuffing the baseball that charges against Mike Scott. Decided, well, it's not going to do any good. Nobody's going to catch him. Nobody's going to say anything. You say it, it just helps him.
It just helps him out. You're just wasting your time to talk about it. 3-2 delivery. And a ground ball hit slowly down to first. Easy play. Davis grabs it, steps on the bag, and the Mets go very quietly once again. They do not get the ball out of the infield. Nothing across. At the end of 6 at Shea Stadium, Houston 3 and New York. 4th inning, and he stole second. Pitch to Bass is swung on, hit in the air to left field. Mookie Wilson will back up a couple of steps. Plenty of time. He's got it. And that will retire Bass, who is 0 for 3 in the ball game, 1 away. Roger McDowell did not have good success against the Houston Astros in the course of the year. He was 0-3. He appeared in 6 games in relief, picking up 1 save, 8 2/3 innings. Astros had 4 runs on 10 hits off him, including a home run that won a ball game. Pitch to Cruz, hit to second on the ground. Wally Backman over to Keith Hernandez, and they're quickly 2 down. 2 away, nobody on. Alan Ashby coming up. Ashby delivered the 2-run homer in the 2nd inning that put the Astros on top 2-0. Flied out deep to center field on Sid Fernandez in the 5th. Ashby now with 2 hits and 11 times up in this series. Roger McDowell, season against the Astros, not like his numbers on the season as a whole, which were phenomenal. 14-9 as a reliever, 22 saves, leading the Mets. 75 appearances for him, the most by any Met pitcher. McDowell against Ashby, batting left. Takes the pitch for a strike call at the knees. McDowell worked 128 innings, striking out 65 and walking 42 in the course of the year. The delivery to him, hit hard to short. Santana gets it, backing up, handcuffs him, throws to first, and gets the out. Had trouble getting that ball out of the glove because it was really nailed on him. Came out of the glove, ricocheted off, but he caught it with a bare hand. And 3 up and 3 down. 7th inning stretch time at Shea. It's the Astros 3 and the Mets. And 6 times up in this championship series against Mike Scott. Mets leading in the series 2-1, an afternoon game tomorrow. Dwight Gooden going for the New York Mets against Jim DeShaves. Mike Scott ready with the fans trying to get the Mets going here. The pitch, Hernandez takes it outside, ball 1. Boy, a leadoff base hit by Keith would really turn this big crowd on.
Anything that would get him on base at this point, as the Met fans have had very little to cheer about. 2-run homer by Ashby in the 2nd. Dickie Thorne's solo shot in the 5th. 1-0 delivery, upside and high, ball 2, 2-0.
Incredible. The Mets have had only 2 base runners this ball game. 1 on an error and 1 single.
What a job Mike Scott has done in this game. They've had the bullpen throwing for about the last 3 innings. The Astros have. Just in case Scott tires, all he's got to do is say so. And he'll be gone. 2-0 count. The delivery to Keith. Strike on the outside corner. 2-1.
Hard to believe he got behind a hitter 2-0.
Sometimes it's almost like he can throw a strike whenever he darn well feels like it.
I think he can.
And anywhere he wants it to be. The 2-1 delivery. Swung on and missed. Great split-fingered pitch that just dove on Keith Hernandez. And the count is 2-2. Keith standing out in disbelief. That ball dropped a couple of feet on him. Hernandez will rarely miss a pitch by very much. That ball was right underneath the bat. 2-2. Here's the delivery. Swung on and foul back. And Mike Scott quickly is right back in charge. Scott, a model of composure on the mound when he pitches. He could drop a bomb beside him and he'd just continue the windup. The 2-2 delivery, swung on, ripped, foul down the right field line. Hit it hard, but got out in front of it.
Second time that's happened to Keith. He missed one the other way his last time at bat.
Keith so intense, stepping out after that one, talking to himself. He really wanted that pitch. Wanted to drive that into fair territory. Knew it was one he could hit hard and did, but outside the line. Scott will step back now as Keith Hernandez moves out of the box. Scott ready. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and popped him up. Second base. Billy Doran on the outfield grass. Just waiting for it to come down. He's got it. Hernandez is retired, and Scott, who fell behind 2-0, came back and got him to pop out on a 2-2 pitch. 1 down. Still no leadoff man on in this game. Gary Carter has struck out and popped out. Carter now 1 for 15 in this series. Virtually everybody thought Gary Carter, and the limelight was shining in his direction, would sparkle for it. He has not been able to do it here against the Houston Astros in this series yet. The delivery by Scott. This is up high. Ball 1. Darryl Strawberry is waiting on deck. Gary Carter this season now, or in this series rather, 0 for 6 against Scott. Pitch to him, swung on, a chopper right back to the mound. Easy play over to first base, and this thing getting boring for Mike Scott. He's making it look like there's nobody up there. 2 down. Mets just shaking their heads as they go back into the dugout. Hernandez was, and so was Carter. Darryl Strawberry has struck out twice.
It's incredible. The Mets have hit one ball hard at the entire ballgame.
Strawberry in this series now has been up against Scott 6 times, and he has struck out 4 of them. 2 down, nobody on. The pitch is down low. Ball 1. 2 down, nobody on. A 3-0 Astro lead. Even though he has struck out 4 times, Darryl Strawberry's been one of the few to pick up a hit off Mike Scott. Swung on, ground ball to second, Doran to his right. Takes the big hop over to first, and that's it. It is that simple for Mike Scott. 3 up and 3 down. He's now set down 7 in a row since giving up the single in the 5th inning. At the end of 7, Astros 3, Mets nothing. Man, yeah, I don't know how you could. I mean, Fernando Valenzuela may be the best pitcher in the National League, but right now this season, it's Mike Scott. Pitch to Thorne is fouled off. Strike 1.
Well, he's dominated the league this year the way Dwight Gooden dominated the league last year.
I don't understand how he lost 10 ball games.
I don't either.
If he throws the way he has thrown against the New York Mets, the league's best hitting team.
He seems to just be getting better and better and better as the year goes along.
Yep. 1 strike delivery, fastball on the outside corner to Dickie Thorne, and he's behind the count 0-2.
Boy, I'll tell you, if this goes to the 7th game and you're up against Mike Scott, Mets may have to watch the World Series on television.
Better bring some paddles with you to hit it. Wide ones at that. McDowell's 0-2 delivery, swung on a ground ball to third, slowly hit. Knight charging, gets it, running throw is on the mark. 1 down. The Houston Astros have not had a base runner nor a hit since the 5th inning when Dickie Thorne had that home run. As they've been retired in order in the 6th and 7th inning, and Mike Scott comes to the plate.
That's what's agonizing here. The Met pitching has allowed only 3 hits tonight, and yet the Mets are not in the ballgame.
Astros have left only 1 base runner.
Yep.
On a walk in the 4th inning.
And that's the only walk given up by the Mets.
Yep. Sid Fernandez walked only 1, a single by Davis to lead off the 2nd, and a home run by Ashby with 2 outs. Driving in those 2, pitch to Mike Scott is ball 1. Then Dickie Thorne with a home run in the 5th inning. Ashby hitting a 3-2 pitch. McDowell, the 1-0 pitch to Scott. Swung on and missed. Mike Scott has struck out twice in the ball game. McDowell on for his 2nd inning of work.
You have to believe Hal Lanier hopes he will strike out and come back over the dugout and sit down.
Yeah. No need for him to be on the base paths. The 1-1 delivery to him. Fastball missing down low, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Roger McDowell making his first appearance in the championship series. McDowell has not worked since the 4th, so he has had a good 7 days rest. 2-1 pitch. Strike called in the outside corner. He did go 3 innings on the 4th against the Pittsburgh Pirates in relief. 2-2 on Mike Scott. 1 down, nobody on. 3-0 Astro lead in the 8th inning. 2-2 delivery, swung on and missed. That'll take care of Scott. Roger McDowell picks up his first strikeout. 2 down. Top of the order, Billy Doran. Doran 0 for 3, 3 for 15 in the series. Doran has grounded out twice and flied out to left field. Doran, a switch hitter, turning around to bat right-handed against Roger McDowell. Doran hit .305 right-handed and .258 left-handed. Billy Doran with 6 home runs and 37 RBIs during the season. Roger McDowell's delivery misses inside, ball 1. In this series now, Houston Astros have 4 home runs to the New York Mets 2. They've outscored the New York Mets 28-25. Ground ball to short, Santana. Over to Hernandez, and that retires the side. So that's going to be 10 in a row now that have been retired by Met pitchers. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Astros 3, Mets nothing. Had 1 hit off Mike Scott. The pitch swung on and fouled back by Mookie. Mookie 0 for 2 is grounded out to short twice. Mookie 1 for 14 now in the series. Scott gave up only 5 hits in the victory in the opener of this series when he won 1-0, and all of those were singles. And walked none in that game. Ground ball towards the middle, stopped by Doran, a diving throw, won't get there. Infield single. The leadoff man is on. Doran with a real good stop behind second base, but he had no chance on the throw to first, and the Mets for the first time in the game have the leadoff man on. And Ray Knight coming to the plate. Ray, the only other hit, a solid single to left field in the 5th inning. The magnificent try by Doran that time. He jumped up behind seconds, made a split-legged throw to first.
He had the added pressure of trying to throw out Mookie Wilson.
Ray Knight 1 for 2 in this ball game. 1 hit and 6 times up against Scott in the series. Mookie Wilson at first, only the Mets' 3rd base runner.
See, Howard Johnson has come out on deck. We'll see him as a pinch hitter.
He'll pinch hit for Rafael. The delivery tonight swung on and grounded foul. Chance for a double play and a ground ball right here. The speed is on at first base rather than at the plate. So if they can get that hard ground ball, they will have a real good shot at taking 2. Ray Knight will step out. Bullpen will be throwing again for the Houston Astros. A left-hander and a right-hander will get up.
Right-hander, I believe, is a giant of a man, Charlie Kerfell.
Scott ready. The delivery. Fastball missing up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. It is so tough to be patient on Mike Scott. because you know he's going to throw so many strikes and you know that ball's going to move so well. The inclination is to lean out and be too anxious. 1-1 delivery. Swung on, popped up, foul behind home plate. And the count on Ray Knight goes to 1-2. Scott continues to get ahead of hitters as he has the entire ball game. Howard Johnson waiting in the on-deck circle. 31-year-old right-hander Scott getting the sign from Ashby. Davis holding Mookie Wilson on the bag. Here's the 1-2. Check swing. Did he go around? No, they check it first. Oh, I'll tell you, hitting against him, it's just so hard. You're so afraid of that ball moving when it gets onto the plate, but you have to be ready to swing at anything. You're always inclined to believe when the ball doesn't move that it's going to. Knight that time just held the bat back. 2-2 count. There goes Mookie. The pitch swung on, hit down to third. Stop made by Garner. Gets up, throws, gets him. Mookie going to third. The throw in the dirt. Mookie's safe. He will not advance as it's backed up. And Mookie just trying to make it happen. Goes all the way from first to third on a ground ball out.
He almost really made it happen. Beautiful play by Phil Garner. Give Knight credit. He hit the ball awfully hard right down the third base line, and Garner, an old pro who still has quickness, whirled and made the diving stab and got up, and shows that he has a good arm. He made the play on Ray Knight. Ray running to first, not too fast, and they made the play. And Mookie, boy, he really turned it on.
And he'd gone into second base slowing down. He didn't just turn the bag. He stopped and looked, realized Garner had to take an extra moment to get up and throw it, and then took off. Relay by Davis was in the dirt. Garner hit it with a body, was blocked, bounced behind him. So now Danny Heap is going to pinch hit for Rafael Santana. One down. Heap will pinch hit with Howard Johnson remaining in the on-deck circle to hit for Roger McDowell. One away. Mookie Wilson at third base.
First indication that Scott may be losing a little bit. Both batters up here in the eighth inning have hit the ball hard.
They're looking for the fly ball now, at least. The Mets are, to get Mookie in from third. Delivery to Heap is up high, ball one. Danny had an excellent season coming off the bench for the New York Mets. 9 hits and 30 times up and 8 RBIs as a pinch hitter. Finished with a .282 batting average. The 1-0 delivery to him. This is down low, and Scott falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes. Infield will play back except for Phil Garner at third base with a left-handed batter up. He'll remain a step in front of the bag. Danny Heap 0 for 2 during the season against Mike Scott. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Strike on the inside corner. Caught that one at the letters, and it's 2-1. Danny Heap 1 for 2 in this playoff series this year. 2-1 delivery. Swung on, hit in the air towards left center field. Hatcher, center fielder, over, makes the catch. Mookie tags up. Throw will come into the plate. Not in time. And the Mets get on the board. It is 3-1.
And here again, that ball was hit hard by Danny Heap. So all 3 batters to the plate of the 8th inning have hit the ball hard. And remember, over the first 7 innings, only 1 ball was hit hard.
So Scott may be feeding that pitch up a little better. Howard Johnson now with the bases empty and 2 down. The Mets get a run in. They break that scoreless streak now at 16 and a third innings. Mike Scott finally yielding a run. It's only the 2nd run now that he has given up in the last 33 innings of work.
Doug Sisk is getting ready in the bullpen now, Gary. We'll see him in the 9th inning.
Howard Johnson is coming on to pinch hit here for Roger McDowell. The delivery by Scott. This is outside ball 1. Hojo, of course, batting left-handed against him. Howard Johnson 0 for 3 during the year against Mike Scott. Hojo finished the season hitting at .245. 2 for 17 as a pinch hitter. Inside on the corner. Caught that inside corner for a 1-1. 3-1 ball game. Mets still have only 2 hits up on the board. 2 singles. Mookie's tough play getting over to third base made the run possible. 1-1 pitch grounded foul outside of first base. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lenny Dykstra waiting on deck if the Mets can keep it going, but there are 2 away. Mike Scott will wait. Howard Johnson has stepped out of the batter's box on him now. It is a grueling effort to get a run off Mike Scott. 1-2 delivery to Hojo, up high, way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Scott getting the sign from Alan Ashby with the infield back. 2-2 delivery. Swung on, hit in the air to right center field. Coming on, Bass, he's got it. Sinking line drive. He had plenty of time to get in front of it. And the Mets are retired after picking up 1 run on 1 hit with nobody left on. And at the end of 8, Astros 3, Mets 1.
He'll be facing Billy Hatcher, Phil Garner, and Glenn Davis. During the regular year, Doug was 4-2. Appeared in 41 games, 71 innings, 77 hits allowed. There were times when he was brilliant. There were times when he struggled. Billy Hatcher leading off in the 9th inning. 3-1, the Astros in front. Very little hitting here tonight. Houston 3 runs on 3 hits. New York 1 run on 2 hits. People Express team of airlines with their low prices. You can enjoy away games from the stands instead of your sofa. Now the 9th inning. Crowd of 55,000 plus. Game 4 of the League Championship Series. Game 5, an afternoon game tomorrow. The pitch on the way to Billy Hatcher, way inside, almost hit him. 1 ball and no strikes. Doug at times has a problem with his control. And the 1-0 delivery. This may be one of those times. Inside at high, ball 2. Kevin Elster now playing short. Billy Hatcher very fast. So up on the edge of the grass at third is Ray Knight. 2-0 delivery. Ground ball hit toward third, cut off by Ray Knight. And the throw 1 down. Hatcher hit a 2-0 delivery. A little bit surprising. Ray Knight was in close at third and was able to cut that one off.
Not a good idea by Billy Hatcher. You got Doug Sisk out there and you are ahead on the count 2-0. Help yourself and the club out by taking at least 1.
He certainly helped Doug that time. Now Denny Walling is going to hit for Phil Garner with a right-hander in the ballgame. Walling and Garner platooned at third all year, and it was a magnificent platoon. They combined to give the Astros just about 100 RBIs. Denny Walling, dangerous left-hand batter, drive in the air to left center. Long run for Dykstra. Can't get it. It's bouncing off the wall in left center field. Walling is on second with a double. Denny Walling, who had .311 over the regular year, caught a fastball just right and lined it in the gap in left center field.
About getting the extra base hits, 2 home runs, double and a single for the Astros in this game.
I know most of the Mets were saying before this series started that the hitter in the lineup they really worried about was Denny Walling. He has shown them that they were right in worrying about him. Now here is the cleanup batter, Glenn Davis. 1 for 2 and a walk here tonight. 4 hits and 13 times at bat in the series. Now Sisk will check it out with Gary Carter. Nothing going in the New York bullpen. Kevin Bass is the on-deck hitter. Fastball off the outside corner, 1 ball and no strikes. The double by Denny Walling, the 4th hit of the game for Houston. Dwight Gooden and Jim Deshaies tomorrow in Game 5. First pitch at 3:05. 1-0 delivery, foul ball upstairs into the mezzanine section. 1 ball and 1 strike. For the first time all night, In the bottom half of the 8th inning, the Mets did hit the ball hard against Mike Scott. Over the first 7 innings, they hit only one ball hard. A hard single to left by Ray Knight. But every batter to the plate in the bottom half of the 8th inning made good contact. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Glenn Davis. Davis, 31 homers, 101 RBIs during the season. He has arrived as one of the young superstars of the National League. He burst on the scene last year, hitting 20 home runs in only 100 ball games. Now the pitch, foul ball again upstairs, and into the mezzanine and out of play. Left-hander Dutch Renner putting a new ball in play, firing it out to Doug Sisk. Houston leading 3-1. Mets can ill afford to let the Astros add any more right now. They may be in over their head already. Waiting on a 1-2 delivery. In the dirt, it gets away from Gary Carter. The runner will hold up. Nice work by Gary. He blocked it to the point that the runner could not go over. That being Denny Walling on second.
Doug Sisk helping himself out as Gary couldn't find it. Doug moved in and hollered to Gary as to where it was. So he had to do a little dance with Dutch Renner at the home plate umpire in order to get around him that time. Good block, though, by Carter.
It is not easy to catch Doug Sisk. He throws that heavy sinker and hard slider. Keeps the ball down, and he'll throw quite a few pitches in the dirt. Denny Walling on second and 1 down. Glenn Davis, the cleanup batter, waiting. In the dirt again, handled by Carter. It goes 3-2. Doug making his first appearance in the League Championship Series. Now it's 3-2 on Glenn Davis. In the bottom half of the 9th inning, the Mets have the top of the batting order coming up. Dykstra, Backman, and Hernandez. 3-2 on Davis. The pitch. Ground ball hit to short. Kevin Elster with it. And the throw couldn't be better. 2 men down. Give Doug Sisk credit. He made a big pitch on 3-2. Threw a good sinker and got Davis on a ground out. And here's the right fielder, Kevin Bass. 0 for 3 here tonight and 4 for 13 in the series. Helped the Astros with a lot of good power this year. 20 home runs, 79 RBIs. Switch hitter batting left. Let's play him around to right at the outfield. Denny Walling leading from second base. Now the pitch on the way. A little bit inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Sisk looking into Carter. Dykstra pulls a little more over toward right center field. And the pitch on the way. Fastball down the middle. Good looking pitch by Doug Sisk. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sid Fernandez allowed only 3 hits over the first 6 innings. But 2 of the 3 were Astro home runs. Roger McDowell in 2 innings of relief was perfect. Retired all 6 to face him. Just a little bit inside with the slider. 2 balls and 1 strike on Kevin Bass. Roger McDowell really thrives on a lot of work, and he had not been to the mound recently, but when he went to the mound, he was perfect. Count is 2-1 on Kevin Bass. A base hit would drive in a run. The pitch on the way. Sinker that is low. 3-1. Jose Cruz, the on-deck hitter.
It's a Doug Sisk inning.
When Doug is out there, manager Davey Johnson really has to reach for the antacid tablets. Now waiting on a 3-1 delivery. Ball 4, he walked him. And Jose Cruz will come up with 2 men on. Jose Cruz 0 for 3. 3 hits and 14 times up. This being the 4th of the League Championship Series. Batted .278 over the regular season. Jose, a very skillful hitter. Now they motion Lenny Dykstra to play straight away against Jose Cruz. The runners will lead from first and second. And a fastball in, a strike call. Randy Neiman getting a hurry-up call in the New York Mets bullpen. And the tall left-hander will get ready as quickly as possible. Houston lineup fortified with switch hitters. Cruz is the hitter. Ground ball hit down to third. Ray Knight has it. Steps on third. Force play. The inning is over. In the ninth inning, no runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on. So fasten your seat belts. We go to the home ninth inning. The Mets trail the Astros 3-1. That leads off the bottom half of the ninth inning. Yesterday's hero leading off the bottom half of the ninth inning. He cannot do it alone. The Mets are 2 runs behind. Denny Walling is playing third for the Astros. He batted for Phil Garner. He stays in the ball game. Mike Scott is ready, and Dykstra cocks the bat. The pitch on the way. Low outside, 1 ball and no strikes. They play in at first and third against Dykstra, knowing if they play back, he'll try to bunt his way on. Dykstra and Backman are the good bunters on the ball club. The 1-0 pitch. Strike called, 1-1. Mike Scott has not walked a batter in the ball game tonight. The blonde right-hander from Pepperdine has struck out 5, riding a new LCS record. Now the windup, pitch thrown. He runs up as though to bunt, lays off. It misses high, 2-1.
Good play by the Astros on Davis. Most of the teams this year, their first basemen have stayed back, worrying more about covering the bag than fielding the bunt, allowing Dykstra to hit it to second on a bunt. Not the Astros. Davis is charging.
He's in good position to field that bunt halfway between the mound and first. He moves up, takes high, ball 3. But fans now who are rooting for a walk may or may not get it, because bear in mind Scott has great control and has not walked a batter here tonight. If he walks Dykstra, Hal Lanier might very well feel that he's running out of strength, that his energy tank is getting near empty. Remember, he's working on 3 days rest. They have their bullpen going. Dave Smith is getting ready. Now the pitch. Strike call, 3-2. Dykstra taking that time, trying to get the walk.
The Iceman cometh again.
He has been the dominating pitcher in the National League all season long. Now 3-2 on Len Dykstra. The table setter is hoping to do exactly that. The pitch and a line drive base hit going to left center field. Dykstra has done his job. He's on with a line drive single to left center. It'll bring up Wally Backman.
2 innings in a row now, and the only 2 innings in this game the Mets have had the leadoff man on base.
Actually, the last 5 batters to come up for New York, all 5 have hit the ball hard. Ray Knight was out, but hit it hard in the last inning. Danny Heap drove in a run with a line drive caught by Billy Hatcher. Howard Johnson lined out to the right fielder, Kevin Bass. Now here's Wally Backman. And if Wally can get on, the tying runs will be on base. Keith Hernandez moving out on deck. Then it is Gary Carter. Hal Lanier standing very quietly with his foot up on the dugout step, looking out. Again, they'll play in at first and third. Here's the pitch to Wally Backman. Low, ball 1. Denny Walling in on the grass at third against Backman, who can butt his way on, as he did to get the winning rally going in the 9th inning yesterday. Glenn Davis at first base holding against Len Dykstra. Crowd chanting Wally, Wally for Wally Backman. Now Mike Scott will work from the stretch. The pitch on the way. Drag bunt, and Scott flags it down. The throw in time for the out. Great fielding play by Mike Scott. Backman trying to drag one and get on. Scott came off the mound. He made a head-first dive. Smothered it. He was flat on his stomach, raised up, and threw to first in time for the out.
Oh, it's a great play by Scott. They were not expecting the bunt. At that point, first baseman covering the bag. Scott had to play it, or nobody else would have. And he beat Wally by a step, throwing from his knees halfway over towards the first base line.
I do not think the official score will score that a sacrifice. No sacrifice intended at all. Wally was trying to bunt for a base hit. Now Hal Lanier talking to his defensive players, making a few adjustments. Keith Hernandez, the hitter, and Keith is 0 for 3 here tonight. Gary Carter is out on deck. Mets are trailing 3-1 last of the 9th inning. Scott will look into Ashby to get his sign. And the pitch to Hernandez. Inside high. Oh, no, beg your pardon. On the inside corner, letter high, says Dutch Rennert. And Keith walks away in disagreement. Rennert will give you a deliberate call. You really have to hesitate for a moment on it. 1 out and 1 on. Next delivery. And a grounder foul down the first base line. And now Mike Scott really has Keith in a tough spot. With that great split finger pitch going for him, when he's ahead of a hitter 2 strikes, the hitter really has a day's work in front of him.
Move that ball around now. He doesn't have to put it in the strike zone. Keith knows that, but at the same time, he knows how well that pitch moves in the strike zone.
The only thing that might help Keith here, maybe Scott is getting a little arm weary. We're now in the 9th inning. 2-strike delivery. And a foul ball to play. Oh, what a nasty split-fingered fastball that was. It dove at the feet of Keith Hernandez, and he managed to get enough bat on it to foul it off and keep his turn-it bat going. Gary Carter, who's had a woeful series so far, is out of the on-deck circle. Hernandez now 5 for 14 in the series. 55,000 plus they're standing and cheering for New York. They won it in the 9th yesterday. They're trying to do it again tonight. Now the pitch on the way, and a ground ball bounced slowly to second base. Billy Doran will throw to Davis, 2 men down. Crossing over to third goes Lenny Dykstra, but the Mets now are in need of a long base hit, and Gary Carter is coming up. Mike Scott retiring Keith Hernandez 4 times in a row tonight and not allowing Hernandez to get a ball out of the infield. That is pitching. Gary Carter has not had the ball out of the infield. He has popped a short, struck out, and hit a bouncer right back to the mound. Very few have had the ball out of the infield tonight. So dominant has Mike Scott been. If the Astros win, the series will be tied. Game 5, a day game tomorrow here at Shea Stadium. We'll be with you tomorrow at 2:50 p.m. with the pregame show. First pitch will go at 3:05. Now it's up to Gary Carter, who's had only 1 hit. The pitch on the way, and a fly ball hit the center field. The game is going to be over. Under it waiting, Billy Hatcher. And the Astros have won the ball game. Mike Scott pitching a magnificent 3-hitter. The series has been